What's up everyone, Minanda here and welcome to my second video on Legend difficulty matches inside my club. My previous video was about beating Legend Challenge Cups, but today I'll be talking about the normal versus comp matches on Legend difficulty. Why I play them, what you can expect from them, and how you can beat them. If you don't know how they work, the versus comp matches are subdivided into 3 team strength levels. A weaker opponent doesn't mean it will be weaker than your own team, just weaker than the matches against the normal and the stronger opponents. To increase the difficulty level and to go from weaker to stronger, you have to win first at home and then away from home. If you win just one of them, you'll stay at the same difficulty level. If you don't manage to win any of them, you'll be demoted. Now, why play versus comp matches at all, and why go for the hardest difficulty level? I think I can give you 5 reasons. First, you can improve your team spirit and try out new formations to see if you like them. Your rating won't change, and playing at Legend difficulty is a better indicator of how well they work than playing at much lower levels. The same goes for players. Maybe you have a new signing and want to figure out his playing style, or maybe you have a silver or even gold ball player who you want to level up before taking him to ranked matches. You'll also be maxing out the experience points that your players get from those matches. If you're playing a PES Lite version, or if you're tired of your Master League, you can still play against the CPU and build different squads. It is quite a challenge, so by improving here, you'll also be improving when you play against other people. You can learn how the CPU plays, and the versus comp cups at lower difficulties will become incredibly easy. Finally, you get more GP the higher the difficulty is, and you get GP bonuses for reaching a higher difficulty. However, there are easier methods of GP farming, so this reason by itself isn't enough. Moving on, here are some highlights from a few matches. First, against a weak team. This almost goes without saying, but check your player's form before the match. Take a look at the opponent's formation as well as their manager, since you might recognize the formation, the passing style and so on. The squads you'll be facing are squads that other players set up for cloud matches, so you might get lucky. Don't be too aggressive with your defending. You really do not want to give away too many fouls. Try to avoid stupid errors as well, such as this clearance. Your opponent will score most of these chances, and you really can't expect to be this lucky all the time. Like I said in my previous video, try to keep possession of the ball as long as possible and rely on simple passing. You can do a long pass if your player is unmarked, but in general just play it safe and wait for an opening. When you see it, you can try a quick throw ball or a 1-2 pass. Don't shoot all the time, try to make sure you have a real chance first. Even at this level, the fake shot is really effective, so you can make use of it a few times. If you're facing a team which favors long passes, you're in luck. It's much easier to defend and you can hit them on the counter. If your players have a lot of stamina, pressure your opponent's defenders. Block their passing lines or charge them to get the ball back. Here you can see Van Basten didn't have too much space. I waited for Bergkamp to continue his run, and because I was patient for just 1 second, it became a very easy chance. The start of the second half was weird because it's unusual to score kickoff goals against a Legend comp. I don't do it against other human players, but I think it's fair game against the CPU. Just don't rely on exploits too much. Another common one is the 1-2 pass, but you can see I adjusted Van Basten first to use his stronger foot. And just as you can be lucky when defending, you can be lucky when attacking. Now for 2 very different games against normal teams. The first one is very unbalanced, with just 2 black ball players. My biggest problem was my players' form, and since they had Messi on the right, I needed a left back in good form. They were playing with a defensive mentality up until this point, but here they switched it. A lot of people say they concede just before halftime, and sometimes the reason is as simple as this. Pay attention to their defensive line as well. If attacking through the center is too difficult, maybe the wings are completely free. As you can see, they changed their mentality again in the 80th minute, one of the main reasons for late goals. The second Legend normal match was a bit more fun, although it was against Sabatini again. There were a few more good players, but the team spirit was awful. I had some trouble with the cursor, and I conceded right at the start. You can see that they were playing with an attacking mentality and switched to neutral after scoring. I played a bit more aggressively, and even though I managed to equalize, I don't recommend it. Sometimes the CPU doesn't know how to deal with your midfield. Here you can see just how much space I had, but then I missed it. It's not too common, but sometimes you'll get a free kick in a nice position. I'm used to taking free kicks with Castledine, so I made a quick sub to make sure I'd score. I'm not joking, I tried to score another free kick with Van Basten later on and I missed. At least there was a lot of open space in the center of the box, so it was easy to score from the corner. Finally, here I was going for a 1-2, but then I noticed Andre Horta making a better run and I added a bit more power to the pass. One simple pass and another easy goal. Moving on to the strongest opponent, you can see that there are only 2 weak players on their team and we're finally facing a different manager, but their team spirit is awful once again. I made another defensive mistake at the start and they switched to a more neutral mentality, just like before. At the end of the first half I missed a lot of chances, but I don't call this scripting or momentum. First I tried an off-balance pass and I insisted on shooting from a bad angle. Then I sent the ball straight at the keeper with a manual header. Then a player with a low heading stat hit the bar and I tried a finesse shot for no reason. Or in other words, now this one I find more questionable. Even before I hit the ball, you can see one of the defenders changing his direction and moving into the spot where the ball was headed, which allowed him to intercept. My goals were pretty simple. The first one was just a good counter, and the second one just a good simple pass. For the home match I failed to win at home a few times. I didn't want to spend too much GP on contracts, so I tried to win it with the default my club team. Here I faced yet another Sabatini squad, and even though it was a really strong one, the team spirit was awful, which gave me a chance. I scored a lucky goal at the end of the first half, but the halftime stats aren't too impressive. I could have wasted time, but I wanted to try my best, and it backfired as they scored an easy equalizer. It's difficult to win when you overhit easy through balls and when your shots have no power in them, but check my previous video if you want to see a white ball team winning against this difficulty level. If you want to see what happens when you win the final 2 games, I won't spoil it, but you can always try it yourself or send me a DM. I didn't share too many defending tips because it's just the same as any other kind of match. Try to predict passing lines, do not get your center backs out of position, clear the ball to safe zones, be careful with sliding tackles, and so on. As for free kicks, switch to manual goalkeeping at the last minute. Sometimes you see odd moments like this one, but don't get distracted. Keep your formation in line, shut down their passing lanes, and wait for the chance to get the ball back. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and to subscribe, and use the comments down below to ask any additional questions. My next video will focus on a very different topic, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching and see you next time.